All right, everyone. You know what time it is. It is that time again, whether it's Thursday evening, Friday morning, or the weekend, or whenever you get a chance to hear what Jimmy has to say. It is From the Margins with James Affont. He is an attorney here in Central Florida. He's a grandfather, a father, a husband, and he's my friend. And he is the show. He's the How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm doing fine. It's a great day to be alive.
Indeed, indeed.
And It's kind of interesting for those of you who thought that Donald Trump had lost his control over the Republican Party. You were wrong. I never said that he had, but it is interesting. Uh, that 36% of the population is with him. And even though there's some numbers that I'm going to be discussing later that might put that in question, but he did take out, he spent $15 million to take out a congressman in Kentucky, which I consider a waste of money, but that's fine. He basically took out Cassidy in Louisiana, and he endorsed Paxton, Mr. Adulterous person in, uh, in in Texas, and that's going to be an interesting election to see how many religious people could vote for somebody whose wife says was adulterous. But and not 10 years ago, not 20 years ago, but last year. So it's going to be an interesting thing how this goes down the pike uh, in the general election. But I have to congratulate Mr. Trump for his power over the party, and someday I hope that the Democrats have somebody with that control over the Democrats. Even though I must admit, Democrats have never had a strong leader in times that I can remember. The last one, believe it or not, was Johnson. He did keep that party really under control. Other than that, Jimmy Carter, yeah, I'm not going to go there. Bill Clinton, not even close. And Obama didn't really try. And I'm going to
Yeah.
that way. He didn't even try. Uh, so it is what it is. Now here in Florida and in the United States, I was listening recently to some of the people that I trust about redistricting, that I know they know about redistricting like me, and they have a point. Mathematically, if you try to make more Republican districts, you have to pull Republicans out of other districts. Simple math. Okay, this is the right now, and for example, in Florida, more NPAs are registered in the last 2 years than Republicans, and then Democrats. I take that out. So basically, the numbers on when they decided to do what they did with AI, there's one that's 1%. There's two that are 3%, 4, 5, and 6. And those of us who do politics on a day-to-day basis, up to 6 is not a margin of victory when you have a third or more in that district that are independents that could go either way.
Right.
Even though all the Republicans vote one way and all the Democrats vote this way, the independents, if they go 51% Democrat, you're out. If they go 51% Republican, you're out. So basically, the ones who decide this election, for those of you who keep thinking, well, there's a Republican district. No, they're not. Are the independents. So I'm fascinated to see how this is going to work out. But there's been fallouts here in Florida about it. There's some people within the Republican Party not happy with this map.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of late for that because it's already been mapped,
Yep.
voted by the House and Senate, and signed by. We'll see how the courts uphold it, what excuse they use to uphold it. But yeah, it is interesting. But the biggest thing that I want to bring up of the state of Florida so I could go national is Orange County, Florida. Orange
Okay,
County,
Jimmy.
Florida has a very interesting thing. A person that I've known for years, Commissioner District 3, Mayra Uribe, decided, and I'm going to have to call it this way, decided to submit her letter of resignation because it's time to do it. Let's start. If she's running for mayor, it's not like she's doing it capriciously. We have very little time before it has to be submitted. So before people say, why is she doing it now? Now is the time to do it. Where she screwed up is she could say effective a certain date, and there would have been an election in District 3. But by doing it effective December of 2026, with all due respect, that throws it into the governor appointing somebody new in January.
Correct.
And there are suitors up there in Tallahassee with their nose up DeSantis' ass asking for the appointment. And basically, it said it's going to appoint a Republican who's going to be completely ineffective with the other 7 commissioners who there's a 99.9 chance are going to be Democrats. But that is fine. Why she did it, we could discuss it to Nancy. I don't want to discuss why. I want to discuss you're wrong, Mayra. You did it wrong. You should have given the chance to somebody to be elected for the last 2 years. And you want to know why I say this to you, Mayra? Because Pete Clark could have done that. First 2 years that you were in, Pete Clark let you run for that district. Pete Clark could have done the same shit and say, effective December, and that governor would have appointed somebody. Okay? Let's stop pretending otherwise. But he said, no, that's not the honorable thing to do. And he allowed you to become a commissioner for the 2 first years of your term because he did it the right way. But you're doing it the wrong way. So I'm going to call you out, Mayra. My friendship with you, if that's is affected, I really, that's not the issue. I'm talking as a political commentator now, a political analyst right now. There is no reason that I could think of that validates your decision to put in the hands of Ron DeSantis, the most corrupt governor after our previous one, and that takes a lot, to appoint somebody here. And by the way, I doubt it's going to be the people you're thinking of. They're not that close to the governor. So I'm going to leave it at that because realistically, I don't know what to say. Do you have anything that you want to say?
And I'm just trying to think out what Uribe's trying to think here. And it is a betrayal to the large Democratic base here in Orange County, to allow the governor to appoint her replacement in January. It's a huge betrayal, a betrayal that I presume the local Democratic Party and throw in the state Democratic Party, Florida Democratic Party, are okay with, because nothing's really blowing up, my socials or my phone or messages. As far as from a strategic point of view, understanding that Orange County is not a favorite of DeSantis, nor of any of the other Republican administration in his cabinet, so forth and so on. Would this be, and I think I may know the answer to this question, but I'll throw it out there. Would this be an opportunity that Uribe is taking to say to the governor, hey, I'm doing this. You're able to select my replacement. If I become mayor, can we work together? Can we have a better relationship than you had with the previous mayor?
No. The problem with she could be the mayor of Orange County. She has other 7 people there that are going to be opposing her. She has certain governors as mayor, and I'm not going to say that, but with all due respect, she has the clear ward on the other commissioners, and I don't know how they're going to react to this. The reason I don't think social media has exploded is because at this point, and I take this respectfully, I don't think they figured out what this means. All they know is that she quit as she's supposed to quit. That's why I started that. This is the time of year she should quit. It's other people are going to quit, like Tiffany, if she's going to run for mayor, she has to quit. We know that. And other candidates would have to quit to run. Stephanie Murphy doesn't have to quit because she's not in any elected position at this time, so she could run. So is Messiah, and so on. So realistically, yes. Uh, Same with Tony Ortiz and the other people in the city of Orlando, because typically their election is not until November next year, so they have time to do it. So the question is going to be effectively how how is this going to hurt? Now, question that I'm going to ask to you:
Okay.
we know he's not going to appoint Linda Stewart because that's not going to happen.
Correct.
But what if he appoints somebody else? I'm going to ask you one person. How would she react if the appointment is Pete Clark?
I knew that was coming, Jim.
A Republican
I-
qualified for the position.
Yes, that's correct, Jimmy. And
That would be her nightmare. She's the
it
mayor
would be.
for Pete Clark.
It would be a nightmare, and her whole scheme would blow up in her face. Um, her dislike for Senator Stewart is probably matched, if not even more so, for Commissioner Pete Clark. Um, I can see that happening. I don't see Uribe becoming mayor at this point. For a long time, I was predicting that she would become mayor. However, in this month of May, we're halfway through it. My thinking has changed based on a number of things. A lot of it has been um, the scandals surrounding her. One in particular, I believe FDLE is closing in on a year of their investigation into the um, ticket scandal situation that Uribe and her son, her not her son, her husband, Kevin Sutton, were involved in that caused FDLE to investigate the entire county commission. That investigation is a year old this month.
Yeah, and
So
I think they're holding it back until prior to the election and then make their report.
I think so.
If you recall my words of 4 or 5 months ago, and you could go back in the archives and look it up, I said, and these were my words, this is Mayra Uribe's race to lose. If and she's done one thing, and if the FDL thing comes out, she's gone. The question then becomes who becomes the front runner. And I think we all know who.
Yes. Yes. Good
It's
point.
not Tiffany. It will
Yes.
become Stephanie. And then we can say, well, we have Stephanie because Maida screwed it up.
Right.
And you know, and this is the thing that I don't think, I'm not sure who's advising her, but
Okay.
this concerns me. Because if she's doing this at this stage and she's following some bad advice, how much more bad advice is she going to follow?
Right.
Just a question.
Jimmy, everything that I see and hear about the Uribe's campaign is not focused from the community for what she can do for the community, unless it's from her own social media. Even then, it's nothing of substance, in my opinion. It's negative and it's political. And if there's ever a candidate who could be looked at and seen as, a very political candidate, it would be Uribe.
The
Um,
question is, does the public get that technical into elections? Look, if you want, then let me tell you where I'm coming from. Okay.
sure.
If you want to talk about Cassidy in Louisiana and its two opponents, it's night and day. He was most qualified. His campaign was more focused into delivering results for Louisiana and all that other stuff. But Trump said, this is the guy, and that's it. The same with Paxton in Texas. This is the guy. The same with Kentucky, where he he appointed this guy whose qualifications are non-existent. Oh, he's a veteran. Who gives a royals? I served in the Army Reserve. That doesn't make me qualified to be a congressman. So let's stop that BS. His BS is that he's a Trump supporter, and I understand that. So when we talk about qualifications, I'm not too sure if that's going to be. But right now, there's going to be a lot of people within the party that's going to be pissed off with her. A lot of political activists who are going to be pissed off with her, and that's not going to help her because she's not running District 3. Look, and I'll give you an example. You and me, she could do everything she did for the last 8 years. We couldn't vote for her, or we couldn't vote against her because neither of us lived in District 3. Simple as that. We both lived in District 5. So basically, whatever she did, now she's running countywide. Now I'm forced to pick between 3 Democrats.
That's right.
As a matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Rick Sink decides to jump in now because of what happened into the mayor's race. Just
wow.
Okay, but I'm forced to choose between 3 Democrats. So basically, I can say, well, this one did this, and I don't like this. This one did this, I don't like this. This one did this, and I'm okay with that. Okay, so it's not like I have to vote for her. It's not like she's the only Democratic option. It's not like she's the only Democrat in the race. So that's one thing that she has to take into account. For some reason, she thinks this is a race to lose. And I think what she did might be one of the things that might cause her to lose votes. And I'll be honest with you. If this is correct, I know a lot of Democrats in this county are not going to be happy with it at all.
I think you're right, Jimmy, on that point. I think you're right for those Democrats, those politicals who follow this and
who vote and who get the calls. Hey, who should I vote for? Because we get those calls. That's the other thing that you politicians need to understand. I get votes from family members and friends that, hey, as a matter of fact, I have one friend that every year calls me and asks me the same damn question. Which one of these 2 is the least racist?
Yes.
Wow. Because he assumes that both of them are. That's like, okay.
Oh, wow.
And then I say that because he calls me every year. Jimmy, which one of these 2 is the less racist?
Right. And also, our voices go beyond just, our immediate friends and family. I mean, we have this platform. You have your political network who talk to other people and they talk to other people and so forth and so on. And so, our voices are amplified a little bit more than the average, voter. And
let me take it one step further. It's not only us. Linda Stewart has people that listen to her. And this is going to make her very unhappy. And she's going to speak up. She's not going to remain quiet. This is going to take the other 2 candidates in that race, and they're going to make them very unhappy, and they're going to speak out about it. As a matter of fact, I can see just right now, giving you one example, Trini is going to be pissed off because that means that Gus cannot run. And that woman calls people. That woman calls people.
She does, and Gus allegedly was running really low on money. So, I mean, this saves him if all this transpires. Trini, she had.
And I'm just giving you examples because there's going to be a lot of people in District 3 that are going to be very unhappy.
That's right.
Okay,
that's right. Because there have been candidates out there, across the political spectrum, but I mean, Democrats, Martinez, Senator Stewart.
And there's going to be a lot of people in District 3 that are not going to be happy with the idea that their commission is going to be imposed for the second time. And does anybody remember the first time that a commission in District 3 was imposed?
Was it? Let me think. Was it Commissioner Fernandez?
Correct. Now that's forced hand. She was convicted, so the Sen of Mel Martinez was appointed to
Mhm.
replace her. But he, like he always said, he was a non-elected commissioner, and he's right.
Yeah,
He was not elected.
he's honest.
So we're about to have our second in less than 20 years.
Mm. Wow.
So
Wow. That
you
is,
know, this is one was forced, okay, but this one is decision, bad decision. So we'll let it. So
and And Jimmy, if let me just add this before we move on to the next topic. If I was the opposition, I don't care if it is um, any of the candidates who are running to replace her, just to stay alive, just to stay relevant. I don't care if it's Stephanie Murphy. I don't care if it's Brandy Griffin. I don't care if it's Rick Singh. I would make sure when that letter of resignation drops and it's official that she will resign after December, allowing the governor to appoint her replacement. I will run with that and make that one the highest priority campaign issues.
let me put it this way: I have hopes that she does it, but from the sources that I'm hearing it, my hopes are very.
Oh man, let me call Rick Singh and offer that tidbit of information. I would. I mean, that just lays into trust and transparency. And if there's anything that voters are clamoring
Look,
for, is that.
if it, we know from the sources that we're hearing, this is what's going to happen.
Mhm.
Some people have even told me that the letter's been sent. And how true that is, I do not know, but that's what I was told, that it's been sent. If it's been sent, then there's no retraction. But this would make no sense whatsoever because this is shooting herself in the foot. But if that's what she chooses,
Sure.
I'll live with that. Okay, so let's go into our national campaign and the campaign of peanuts. Uh, it's interesting
Hmm.
that in this country there are sources that come up with their own numbers, which make no sense whatsoever, but they do. For example, Truth Inflation won't tell you who are the economists who prepare it, but they do say one thing that I find interesting: that
Okay.
their difference between the CPI and them is that they take factors worldwide, and CPI only takes the United States of America. Well, with all due respect, I don't give a fuck about the economy in other countries. I give a fuck about the economy here.
No,
That's
Jimmy, they take a million data points just for the United States. They do
yeah,
the
but they don't
similar. They
they
do
don't tell you
similar
which.
for other countries.
With all due respect, they tell you to take a million points, and they're full of shit because there's not a million points to take. Okay, in the economy, there's not a million points. I mean, if you study economy, there's not a million points, and that's why I find them full of shit. But the thing that they do say is that they take the worldwide. Look, is inflation as bad in China as it is here? No. Why? Because they don't have to. They don't have to pay tariffs. Is inflation as bad here as it is in even parts of Europe? No. Why? Because so if you're going to give me that China's at 1.8 and this is so this brings down your number. But what bothers me the most, this is how full of shit they are, is that when Biden was in office, they had it almost at 6%. And when you ask them how, they couldn't justify it. They say we have a million points, we do this, a million lights of this, we're doing up there. Who's your economist? We don't discuss it. What's your methodology? We're not going to discuss it. Look, it's a political thing, and I understand it. But this is what I'm trying to get to everybody here. It's interesting what has happened recently with some MAGAs. Until last week, one of their sources of reliability and one of the people that they back and one of the people that they say are correct is Fox News.
Mm.
As a matter of fact, Fox News single handedly, I would say, is responsible for most of MAGA. News Nation is now trying to pretend that they are, but News Nation and the others are not. But for years, MAGA people and Republican people have used Fox News polls to show how fucked up this country is. Well, and sometimes they were right. I've never argued that they didn't do quality work because they do quality work. And basically, sometimes they have an advantage over all of us is that if you call a MAGA person and say, this is Fox News and we want to do a survey, MAGA people took to Fox News. If CNN says, I want to make a survey, because that's how fucked divided this country is. We go with our own and that. So Fox News just came out with a survey. It's come out with this poll. Okay, this is interesting. The Republican Party / Donald Trump, because apparently for them that's the same, so I take that back. Overall approval of the economy is 39%, disapprove 61%. I mean, overall, the economy overall approval and the Fox thing is 29%, disapproval 71%. Inflation, the approval rate is 24%, and 76% of these people who are called by Fox News say disapprove the inflation right now. That's a 52% down. And this is as much as they have tried to create false impression that the economy is not bad. And to quote JC, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. These people are angry. For people to say, oh, no, the economy is solid. Look, the stock market could be as solid as it wants. That's purely speculation. We all know that. And sales and buys. Does that put money in your pocket? No. Does that control the price of gas? No. Does that control the price of food? No. Again, it's all about the economy, stupid. These numbers come from Fox News. This is not CNN. This is not NBC. This is not CBS or ABC. This is Fox News.
Right.
And God knows that these are the numbers that right now people are going on. Oh, we're going to end the war in the next 2 or 3 weeks and everything's going to go back to normal. Shit, I've been hearing that for the last 2 months. And the war's still going on. And the strait is still blocked. And with all due respect, I don't know how the fuck can we say that we won, but if Trump wants to claim that we won, that's fine with him. I mean, the stretch is still closed. They still have the capability. We have just sit there and see what's going to happen. We're not, other than China's ships coming in and out, we have not allowed anybody else. So we're going to, everything is okay. Look, even the approval for the war is disapproved in the 70s. People do not see this as a necessary war. Why? Because they didn't feel threatened. They didn't feel that that there was going to come a bomb to us or anything else. As a matter of fact, I love the way that I heard one of the commentators say something from the Maga section that Iran was preparing their nuclears to send to Israel, not necessarily to the U.S. And some of them believe that. And I'm not saying that is true, but some of them believe that. The truth of the matter is right now is that MAGA has always been against foreign wars. Now we're in one, and there's a threat to a second. Because now we're going to go into Cuba to take out Castro for something that happened in 96 that really puts us in danger of happening again. That might make the Cubans in Miami happy, and I'm all for them being happy. Truth of the matter is that Cuba hasn't had a democracy in over 100 years. I understand that. Right. And that's something that they deserve and they should have. Yes. But the truth of the matter is that for the last 100 years, it is true, Cuba has not had a democracy. Okay? So, is that something that the American public is really in support of doing? I don't think so. It's about the economy, stupid. If gas is $4.59 a gallon, You could take out Raul and you could bring him here. You could put him on trial, but gas is still 4.59. You have a problem. Oh well, food is still going up, and we got Raul Castro. The economy is bad. You still have a problem. I think he's being deviated and convinced by now Marco Rubio to go into Cuba. And by the way, Marco Rubio's Spanish was pretty good, but he's talking to the Cubans of 40 years ago. Cubans of now don't think the same way. Right now, to be quite honest, 67 years, a person to have remembered the old Cuba now has to be in his late 80s, to be at least 20 years old that he could remember the old Cuba. If you're 77, you were 10 years old when this happened. Just to give you an example. So when people say, no, this is where it's going to go. If he goes into Cuba, it's going to be even more of a disaster for the Republican Party. So at this point, the economy is going to be the deciding factor. And that is where we are going to be headed. Redistricting is not going to help you. My opinion is that each Texas, Florida, Georgia, if it happens, and all the other states that might happen, you're going to have to dilute the numbers, and maybe you might reduce it in 1 or 2 seats. That's it. That's it. The others are very viable. As I've been looking to Darren's district. Darren's is 7.
Right.
He's an incumbent. He might have the money, and God knows how dirty the primary between the 2 or 3 or 4 Republicans are going to run that district. How winner they're going to be. And they just wasted $15 million to take out a hit congressman in Kentucky.
Massey.
So I'm not sure where that's coming from. So it's really, this is the issue. It's about the economy. And it's sad to see how people do not understand this. They tend to think, well, there's a support for the war in Iran. Even those who support the war in Iran know their numbers are not there. Right. Even those who believe that this right, what we're doing there, know they're in a minority. And they know it. They're not arguing. No, where the majority of Americans support this war. They don't. MAGA people have always consistently been against foreign wars. That's the MAGA issue. It's an American first issue. Okay? So there's that we're in a foreign war and all this. No. And the problem here is that most of us, and I'm going to ask a question. Can somebody tell me what is Donald Trump's plan to end this war? Because one day he gives them extra time, the other day he threatens them, the other day he says we're going to do this. But I'm going to say something that most of you do not know. It's been over 40 days since nothing has happened there between Iran and the United States. There's been a ceasefire that the first 30 days passed by. And for the record, neither side is really talking. They're not talking. They're bullshitting you when I say they're talking. They're not really talking. They send a letter, this is my terms. And the other one says, no, I reject that. The other one sends another letter, no, I reject you. But sitting down face to face, according to the people in Pakistan, that's not happening.
Right.
Okay? So it's been 40 days since we stopped the hostilities. And what is the plan? Nobody's explained it. And I don't think even Donald Trump knows what it is. And that's what's scary. Because if this keeps going on and let's get this clear. Oh, well, but you're not. Today is the 21st of May. Next Sunday is the 31st of May.
Yeah.
Where the month of May is gone. So if we go 10 more days, you're going into June.
Right.
And prices of gas to normalize is not going to happen in a week. It's going to take 2 to 3 months. So even if we settle on June the 1st, you're talking July 1st, August 1st, September 1st. And you think that's not going to go into November, you're full of it. Okay? And the word that the person used that this is peanuts, to him maybe, but to the rest of the American It isn't. So my concern is as follows. Redistricting, I don't think is going to cut it. And even that, I was discussing with you off air. Look, you have Massacre who right now can say, screw it. I'll vote consistently against my party. Got nothing to lose. I'm out of here. You have Cassie and Coral saying, okay, I'm out of here. And the majority in the Senate is 3.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If they get Ron Paul, who sometimes does not like to vote with and Murkowski from Alaska,
And
who has
Collins from Maine.
and Collins from Maine, who wants to be reelected, that's 5.
Mm-hmm.
And as a matter of fact, the majority leader has said he's not happy with the $1.8 billion that is going to be spent. And they say, hey, we're stopping this. They have the authority because Congress has the power of the budget. Just for those of you who did not know it, this is in the Congress. If they pass it and Massey and Bartlett decide, hey, we're going against you, it's dead. Look, this country, we need to do one thing. This is not a red country. This is not a blue country. Right now, this country is controlled by the MPAs.
Independents.
Yes. No party affiliation, for those of you wondering what the MPAs stand for. These are the ones who could control this country. And you might be surprised. These were the ones who put Trump into power because they believed that he could fix the economy. Well, I don't think anybody would try to argue that it's fixed the economy with a straight face. I know there's some MAGA people who say, no, the economy is fantastic. Maybe for you, but not for me and not for the majority of Americans. But it is what it is. And it's interesting because right now, today, the president made fun of it. The Democrats' report came back,
Yes.
in which they admit the screw ups, and they admit, and there's a sentence that I want to take out of the report that I like.
I have it up on my screen, Jimmy. However, I have not read the 192-page document. I will examine it. So I'm going to leave my comments.
I read part of it.
Okay.
And I think I feel comfortable. And I'm taking this out of the report, so I'm going to just. Democrats want to win arguments based on principles. Republicans want to win an election at all costs.
Yeah, that's about right.
What is interesting was his response, Trump's response about this report, because this is the one that I want to pound on. All elections are rigged. So, Mr. President, your election was rigged. You were not officially elected because all elections are rigged, including yours. So you're not a legit president. Come on, give me a break. Come up with something more original. Also says Democrats need to listen to voters and respond accordingly. And the one that I like the most is Democrats need to understand that they have the opportunity to come up at this point with a plan that can entice the American people to vote for them. Because right now, if I'm going to say this, I'm not sure what the plan of the Republicans are. Because if they're going to just follow blindly Trump, what are they going to campaign on? The big, beautiful bill? Most people don't have not felt any relief from that. What are you going to try 2 years later still blame Democrats for the bad economy when everybody knows that the price of gas is the result of a war in Iran? Or are you going to try to say that Democrats are look, Republicans, and this is the thing that I've been saying. If you want to campaign to your Republican base, fine. They're going to vote Republican. If Democrats are going to campaign to their base, fine. They're going to vote for you. you need to be campaigning to the independents. And I don't see what the Republicans can say to the independents to get them on board. Oh, that this is a just war. 70% of Americans don't think so. That the economy is not bad, that affordability is a word invented. Most people don't believe that. They know that their dollar is stretched. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give myself as an example. I'm a animal of habits, like a lot of people are. Every Monday morning, before I come to work, I stop in the same gas station to get lottery tickets for the wife and to get other stuff that I need, and I fill up the tank, and I call on La Viejita because it's two senior citizens that are really in their late 70s that run that place, very well run. I'm not gonna say the country, and I used to fill up my tank with $25. Now it's 40. And by the way, I fill up the same amount of gallons. The only thing is that now I am paying 450 and 430 per gallon. And with all due respect to everybody, I used to be paying 299. So yeah, the price has gone up, and that's why I keep saying, and this is going to be interesting because I'm going to see a lot of people laughing. Jimmy Alfano is quoting JC. Yeah, Jimmy Alfano is quoting JC. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie.
That's right.
I've been saying this before. Trust your eyes. Are you going to tell me that gas is the same price? No, 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 no. That the prices in the supermarket and everything are the same? No, 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 no. As a matter of fact, now even Amazon says, hey, if you take delivery 3 or 4 days later, I'll give you $1.15 credit. Even Amazon's got to that point. So, and they call it fuel economy. I like the way they put fuel economy. So it is what it is. Airlines are charging you more to fly. By the way, I'm flying next week to Boston for a stamp show. So yes, I know. It's going. Everything is going up. So if you want to say that everything is fine because the stock market is rising, look, that's the biggest bullshit that I've ever heard. Do you get a check from the market? No, you don't. You get a check from your employer or from the sweat of your back. That's how you get your money. You don't get it from the stock market. So, well, what about the 401ks? 401k supplement Social Security, but that's sorry for not being. And the majority of Americans don't have 401ks. It's less than 12%. So it is. So again, it's all about the economy. Stupid. So it's going to be interesting what's going to happen. So, by the way, do we have any comments this week?
We had. I'll have to look, Jimmy.
Okay.
I think we did have one comment.
Take your time. I'll keep talking, and we'll go to it. I just don't like to leave people hanging out there and say, I commented and you didn't even have the decency to answer. No, I'll answer your comments.
There was one comment, Jimmy, on YouTube. It was in response to the content that we pulled, the short form content, why negotiating peace with Iran is so complicated. And that was a couple of weeks ago. They responded, or maybe it was a week ago, they responded, and this is Oh Dear Baba John. Baba John? Oh dear
Baba John, like the pizza. Okay.
Said, let me guess, LOL. Because U.S. Israel committed war crimes against a girls' school and targeted women, children, and family members of leaders. Oh well.
Well, it
was in regards to the early part of the war where
you're probably correct. Now, is there a regime change? Yes. You had an 86-year-old Ayatollah who opposed nuclear weapons, who basically his attack was against Israel. He did not like the U.S., but he saw as a more direct threat Israel because they had attacked them in the last 4 or 5 years. So yes, and you replace it with his son, and you killed his father, and you killed his wife, and you killed his children. But he's good. He should be a reasonable person. I agree. You have a point. Uh, there is, you attack them, but then you want it to be reasonable. And you have a point. How would we feel in this country if somebody had killed our president and his family and his other members, and then they said, okay, let's sit down and negotiate? We would probably be telling them to go, you know what? So you do have a point. So I'm going to accept that point. The problem with this is that the negotiations is something that I learned in law school. I give you something and I get something. This give me everything and I give you nothing. It's never worked. And what's the incentive? There is no incentive. It's like right now, I keep saying with Cassie and with Crowley. They're out. Why do they still have the kids the ring of Donald Trump? They're out. He can say whatever he wants about them, but when it comes to a vote in the Senate, they're out. They vote against it. McCaskey just got reelected, okay? In Alaska. She's in.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have to worry about it for the next 6 years. The next 6 years, she's looking at that. Hopefully, the Republican Party is completely different. Collins is in the race of her life. If she's too Trumpist, she will lose in May. And she knows that.
Right.
So she has to balance. And we've all known how Ron Paul is not exactly a Trump person either. As a matter of fact, for those of you who do not know that, he voted against a nominee for the Department of Homeland Security. He voted against it. It's a public record. So what I'm trying to say is, if those 5 decide it's over with, and they decide to vote with the Democrats, so as a matter of fact, they can even bring up the War Act if they want.
Jimmy, wouldn't that be dangerous for those senators if they impede the president's agenda? And with the president doing so well in these Republican primaries, decidedly well, wouldn't that just stir up the Republican base to even push harder for Trumpism?
No. First of all, with all due respect, at this point, they've seen that they're pushing for Trumpism. That's why 2 of them are out. Okay, So at this point, what are they concerned about? That if they don't vote for Trump, there's going to be consequences in the party that kicked them out. I can see that. McCuskey just got elected for 6 years. Like I said, Collins is in the race of her life, or either she becomes more centrist or she's going to lose in Maine. So that's the other one. Ron Paul just got elected 2 years ago. He has 4 more years to go. So the Republicans going to be pissed off with him, but he's not up for re-election until 2030, I think. So he's good. So it's really that. Massey is out. So what are you going to do to him? The president's against the lady from Colorado. He's campaigning for the other person. God knows he might spend another 15 minutes to get her out. So what does she have to lose? Do they care about the party being more pro-Trump? At this point, no, I don't see them worried about that, because really, a lot of them don't agree with the president's agenda. They really don't.
Right.
And other than Republicans, most Americans don't either. The number for according to the Fox poll, the president has lost the independence by a large number in the 70s.
I've heard.
So as a matter of fact, this is a question I'm going to throw to you.
Sure.
Do you think that an independent can win one of the seats in the South? for Congress? Just throwing that out as a thought.
Jimmy, of course, I'll have to qualify a yes answer. However, the answer is no. Straightforward, no. I can say yes, but I'll have to qualify that statement. And you know what I'm going to say. That person better talk to us. They better have resources, and they have to be ready to really work at separating themselves from the establishment, from the incumbents, an outsider approach with a solid message.
Yeah, but the thing is that there's an advantage that I don't think that most people understand.
Mm.
By doing redistricting, there's a second thing that I find fascinating.
Okay.
Let's say, just for the sake of argument, that it does pass, and obviously qualifying is going to have to change because of that. But let's say that qualifying begins in June 15th with a new map and goes into June 26th, the 9 normal days, because it's not just one day. You'll know that. On the 29th of June, a strong independent candidate puts in his or her name, is running against a cuckoo on both sides. I say this, and of the three, sounds the most sane. And now we don't have a campaign that had to raise money for the last 4 years, but is raising money at this point as the other two, because this is the thing that's interesting. Okay. You created 4 new Republican districts. Those 4 districts, new Republican candidates are going to come in. So it's going to be primaries in all 4 of them. Okay. You have 4 Democrats running in. It's going to be a primary. We're not going to know until probably September who is a Republican and Democratic candidate. We know that independents don't go to primaries at all. They don't. So they're there, they're campaigning, they're going door to door, they're making their issue, they're raising funds, da 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 da. And at the end of all this, there's so much dirt on the candidate that wins the Democratic primary and the Republican primary that basically this person is like, hey, this is caca, this is poo poo. I'm the only one here who's clean handed. And the Democrats decide, hey, screw it. Our guy doesn't have a chance. I'm going to go with the independent.
Right.
Or the Republicans say, hey, our guy doesn't have a chance. I'm going to go with the independent. That is the thing of this redistricting that I don't think they thought through.
Right.
An independent having to run 2 years, you're right. It's going to be virtually impossible. But right now, there's 4 districts that we don't even know who the candidates are for either party.
Sure.
And when you're saying this is a 5-month campaign and a 5-month campaign, it's possible.
Ooh, Jimmy, you're so right. Anything is possible. You lay it out like that.
I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's always interesting because we don't think in those terms. We think that the MPAs and independents are either going to vote Democrat or Republican. They could vote for the independent. And
Right.
if some Republicans and Democrats stay home because they don't like their candidates because they suck, or they jump the race, because that's the other thing that we don't tend to talk about in politics. People don't vote straight down. You and I know that. They might vote for the candidate for governor and lieutenant governor. They might vote for the U.S. Senate and just jump to Congress. And we know that those of us who run county commissioner campaigns, we know that there's at least 30% of the people who don't go that far down.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's another factor that I don't think that people discuss. So this redistricting, IA redistricting is going to be interesting, but we'll see.
Again, this is unlike any electoral cycle I've ever experienced in my 35 plus years of politics. It's
It
fascinating.
is
It's very
because you have,
fascinating.
if you think of it, there's going to be 4 new Republican districts, which
Mhm.
means that they're going to have to find a candidate for that district, even if you think it's favor for them. Uh, and some of them are carved out of other districts that don't have people in them. Can other people jump into them? Yeah, probably. But even if they do, is there just one Republican jump into that race? No, we know better.
Right.
And the person coming out of the Republican Trump thing is going to be Maga to the right, and the person coming out of the Democratic thing could be another Maxwell Forrest, or it could be a Darren Soto. That we do not know. But I don't see a moderate coming out of a Republican uh, primary. There's no way he or she's going to win. Simple as that. The more they have their nose up Trump's ass, the better chance they have to win. Simple as that. Uh, but this is going to be the question that is going to be: Will will the independents go for a moderate Democrat over a MAGA ultra right Republican?
Mm,
And that's a good question.
it
And that's
is.
why I keep telling my party that they need to listen, read this. And there's a lot of pages that I have to miss, that I have to read, but I took out the gist of it. And I think this is where I am going to go into the fuck ups of the week.
All right, Jimmy, let's have the fuck ups of the week.
Okay. Again, Donald, you make it. Two things. The longer you allow this war to go on with either getting out of it or finishing it, one or the other, prices of gas are continuing to go up. They're not stabilizing for those of you who think they're going to keep going up. And as long as oil becomes scarce around the world, it is going to be a problem. Now, I have said that. You need to think of the economy. To say that affordability is invented word by the Democrats, and to say that the economy is bad is peanuts, is not going to help you. By insulting people and not doing something about the economy, you are affecting your credibility. You're hurting your party. And yes, I could start this program congratulating you for having the power of your party, but you took $50 million out of the coffers of your party to get Massey out. And I understand you're looking for another 20 million to take out Corin in Texas. And you spent some 3 to 4 million to take out Cassidy. Look, you need to concentrate that effort, that time, and that energy in helping the economy in the United States of America, and not in having perfect control over your party. Now, Democrats, you're screw up. I did review this report. Biggest fuck up of that report, it basically does not mention much about Biden and his situation. Just said that after they suspended, and this is the only two sentences, that after the June 2023 debate, 2024 debate, they cancel all polling on Biden versus Trump because they saw that would be a waste of time, energy, and money. Not that for the 4 years that we were there, how much this was screwed up. You also mentioned that Kamala was handed a bad hand because she was never included in government decisions. Look, that's not going to help the party. She was not included because Biden didn't want to include her. And whoever gets elected president has that control. So spending 4 pages on that is a waste of time and energy. Yet, you spend 1 page on what the party really needs to do. That is important. There's more than 1 page before. There's more than one. Yeah, there is. But the rest is BS. I like the way you did say a couple of things. So I'm going to give you credit for those before I criticize the others that you said in there. Democrats need to listen to the voters and respond accordingly. Yes. But you didn't really come up with a plan. So I'm going to give it to you. One, Democrats, you need to discuss your eyes. You could take JC and say, men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. The gas is 459, and that's the result of the war of Iran. The cost of food is up because of transportation of that food from point A to point B is up because of the cost of gasoline and diesel. It's almost $7 a gallon right now. Which, by the way, for those of you who say, "Who I don't drive with diesel," you don't. But the big trucks that deliver your food, they do. And other products, for the record. So you need to also come up with a plan that is very simple. It's about the economy. Don't insult Donald Trump. Yeah, you could put him down in your ads where he says, "Hey, by the way, I don't give a hoot about the economy. I don't think about the economy. The economy is not something that worries me, and the American people's finances is something that doesn't worry me." Yeah, you can put that in a couple of ads, but you need to come up with a plan as to how you're going to fix it. Very simple. And this might sound bad to some of you, and I think you're wrong because we proved this correct in the 60s. First thing we're going to do is get out of the war in Iran the honorable way. The second thing we're going to do is going to reach an agreement to open the stretch of Hamas and get the gas prices down. Third thing we're going to do is we're going to find a way to work the economy and make life more affordable for you. And fourth thing we're going to do is we're going to eliminate as many of these tariffs that are unnecessary because you pay for the tariffs. Not the countries who send it, you do. When it comes in, they charge a tariff, and that tariff is given back to the consumer. So basically, those are the 4 points you have to just keep it, keep it, keep it. Or like we like to say, those of us who do politics, keep it simple, stupid. Don't go too elaborate. With that, make your comments. I will respond to them. Like, dislikes. Remember, we still have the offer. If we reach a certain number, we will give you a strategy for the race in the city of Orlando for mayor. So, with that, I may not see you next week because I'm going to be in Boston, but I'll try my best to either record on Friday when I get back or Saturday.
All right, Jimmy.
And I'll see you all. Take care.
Take care, Jimmy. Thanks. Have a safe trip.
Thank you.